Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and you join me here inside a BMW i4 M50. This car is the M Sport division's first foray into the EV market. BMW is no stranger to the EV market. We've had the i3 and the i8 in the past. They were arguably a little bit ahead of their time. 2021, around about 12% of all new cars sold in the UK were EVs. So now is the time to join the race. And yeah, this being the first ever M Sport EV is potentially rather significant. I'm going to show you around the exterior. We're going to come back inside and have a look at the interior functions, and it being an M Sport, obviously, we're going to take it out for a drive and see how it fares in that setting. Whilst we're here, we'll start with some facts and figures. The i4 M50 starts at £63,000, and model tested here comes in at £76,600, so it's fitted with a number of options. I'll point them out as we go round. Speaking of which, probably time to jump outside and see what it looks like. So here she is, the BMW i4 M50. I think it's a really good looking car. I know the new front grille design at BMW has been controversial to say the least, but I think it really suits the EV design actually, because there's no actual intakes in there, so that's all solid through there. Yeah, I think it looks really good. You've got these laser LED headlights. They come as part of the visibility pack on the car, and one obvious option to note is this rather fantastic frozen Portimao blue metallic paint that comes in at £2,985. And one point to note, it does pick up the dirt rather a lot. We've driven 600 miles in this, and we are in the middle of a hosepipe ban, so please don't crucify me in the comments for it being dirty. Another option to note as we come around the side here are these 20-inch M double spoke bicolour jet black alloy wheels. They come in at £1,350. You get the M Sport brakes with the red calipers as a no-cost option. You can pick other colours, I saw blue and yellow on a configurator as well. As we open the car up, see the wing mirrors unfold there, so you get the proper M Sport wing mirrors there as well. This is fitted with the M Sport carbon exterior styling. Comes in at £2,450. There's more evidence of that down here, and the lip at the back is also in carbon as well. As we come around the side, one point to note actually, we'll have a look in the back. So the tinted windows come as standard, but the rear entry, the doorway there, is really quite small. But once you're in there, there is actually plenty of space. I've got the seat right back there, so it's not even in my driving position. There's a couple of USB-C charging points down there, and you get rear climate control as well. And you get these rather nice M Sport seatbelts come as standard as well. I do like the colouring on those if you like detailing on your seatbelts. But yeah, the rear entry is a bit small. It's just something to note. There are ISOFIX points in the rear there, but you do sort of have to get yourself into the car or dislocate your shoulder to strap your kids in. But you know, something you could live with, I'm sure. Charging port is at the back there. 20-inch wheels at the rear too. As you come around the back, you can see some more of the carbon styling here and on the lip there, and you get the M50 badge as well. While we're here, we'll just have a quick look in the boot. You get well over 400 litres back here, so there's plenty of space. You get charging cables. If you put them away properly, they do fit in there. I don't know how they managed to fit them in the bag. There's some trickery required. You've got your Harman Kardon subwoofer in the back there as well. So yeah, there's plenty of space in here. You don't get a front trunk with this. Get the electrically operated tailgate there. Do really like the styling of this car. I think it's a really handsome car. Just complete the view by coming round the side here. I do love this paintwork. I know it's a lot of money at a lick under £3,000, but I think it's probably worth it. Yeah, really handsome car in my opinion. Love the way this car looks. But anyway, let's see what it's like inside. So this is the view from the driver's seat of the BMW i4 M50. I've got to say, I think this is a really nice environment to be driving around in. Love this sweeping screen that comes all the way across here. This fully touch screen up here, and it's on BMW's latest and greatest iDrive 8 system. If you don't like touchscreen, there is the rotary wheel that you can use to operate it across here as well. So much functionality in here to dive into. Yeah, it's really good. You get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and all that sort of thing as well. So the options to note in here, you do get the comfort pack, which comes in at £1,200. That includes the heated steering wheel, comfort access, front lumbar support and extended storage. That includes things like the side netting in the boot. You get these front M Sport seats, come in at £890. Found them really comfortable for the driving we've been doing. We've done just under 600 miles in this car, yeah, no complaints. And you get the Tech Plus pack, which includes drive, park assist and drive recorder. So if I highlight what that looks like at the moment, pop the car into reverse, you get the 360 surround view camera and all the sensors and all that business. So yeah, that's really useful to have. You've got different drive modes down here. So we've got Eco, Pro, Comfort and Sport. If we flick it into Sport, everything goes a bit red and it gets angry. And if you use the Sport Boost functionality, that's when you're getting all 530 plus horsepower and you're crazy 0 to 60 times. Not something you'd be using all the time actually. Eco Pro, just to eke out the range. Arguably one of the weak points of this car, the guaranteed range, they say up to 318 miles. I mean, even the battery estimator on here doesn't go that far with it. I think when we did a motorway run to Leeds and back yesterday, we achieved 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, so you'd be looking at around about 230 miles from a full charge. But the charging infrastructure has improved immeasurably over the past couple of years, so it wasn't too challenging. You get a really good head-up display in there. I don't know if you can just see that floating on the window there. That works really well, works brilliantly with the sat-nav as well. All the functionality on the steering wheel, super easy to use, from adaptive cruise control, all that sort of thing. Yeah, really nice environment to be in. Plenty of storage space too in there. Get a USB-C charger. More storage in here, somewhere for the key. Do really like this key actually. Love the M Sport colouring on the side of that. You've also got the wireless charging pad in there, a couple of cup holders, glove box, all the usual gubbins. So yeah, there's plenty of space to store your stuff. Definitely one for family use. As mentioned, there's the ISOFIX points in the rear, get all the ambient lighting and all that sort of stuff, and the carbon extension spreads to the interior as well. So yeah, really good looking, nice, refined place to be. And I've got to say, this iDrive system, absolutely superb, really intuitive, easy to use. Yeah, just got on really well with it. But this being an M Sport car, it's rather important that it performs well out on the road. So let's find out. So what's the BMW i4 M50 like to drive? Well, we'll start with that performance. Because my God, this car just goes. We've got it in Sport Boost mode there. Yeah, you're getting all 530 plus horsepower, 0 to 60, 3.7 seconds. It is insanely fast in a straight line. It's also quite comical. There's a real muscle car feel to it. You get that Hans Zimmer chosen sound whirring away in the background, almost like a faux V8, but it sounds a bit better than that. That almost does it a disservice. If just picks up nicely. I hope that comes through properly on the audio, because I think it is actually quite well measured. I've seen some people say they might get bored of it and that sort of thing, but the reality is you're not actually that often in sport mode. I'll dial it back down to comfort for a moment, because you're looking to conserve range and that sort of thing. It's so easy to cycle through the modes. Yeah, we drove to Leeds and back yesterday, just using it in Eco Pro to maximise the range, because yeah, as mentioned, it's perhaps not the best it could be, but we did that trip, 400 miles round trip, with total just over an hour stopping. So yeah, no, not too bad. It's time to grab a sandwich and a cup of coffee, so you know, it forces you to have that break. But the irony was not lost on me that you've got this monstrous M50 and you're not really using all the power when you're on the motorway. But then I guess you could argue that nor should you be, because you are very, very quickly at the speed limit in this car. But from the sort of more mundane setting, it is really comfortable. It cruises around really nicely. Ride quality is good. Be a little bit crashy over speed bumps and that sort of thing. And one complaint that people have had with it is the sort of dynamics of it. This is a very heavy car, so it comes in at 2,290 kilograms before anyone's got in it. You know, there's no getting away from it. Batteries are heavy, so I think if you were comparing this to the new M3, the new M4, those sorts of cars, yeah, it is going to be dynamically compromised purely because of the weight. You're looking at least an extra 400 kilograms there. Batteries, put simply, are heavy, but as the technology improves, they will get lighter, more efficient, more powerful, all of that sort of thing. And I think this does signpost to a much brighter future than many may have predicted. I have fallen for this car actually. I really like it. It's comfortable, it's amenable, I think it's really good looking. I think that's important. I think people will make purchasing decisions based on the aesthetics. Aesthetics matter. And that's definitely the case with this car. I think it looks great, the styling's superb, love that frozen Portimao colour. And also, when you do get it out on a decent B road, it flows along quite nicely. When you start leaning on it in roundabouts and that sort of thing, there's just no disguising that weight. I mean, it's impossible. I mean, they've ironed it out in terms of the ride quality. The way it sort of serenely sails across the road is really impressive, and especially on the motorway, it was super comfortable. And you only really get an idea of the power. It's when you change lane, you put your foot down, and you look down at the speedo on the heads-up display, and you go, "Oh crikey!" I didn't get any sense that we were going that fast. I mean, it is hugely powerful, this car. But yeah, it's just you know, the minor drawbacks, things like the range. Yeah, that's definitely going to put some people off. I mean, some of the competition are, you know, achieving in the real world over 300 miles. But if you're buying a car like this, you are going to have a charging point at home. I think people are used to that now. The charging infrastructure is improving immeasurably, certainly since I started this channel and started reviewing the first EVs. Just charging. And I went to Leeds back with my dad yesterday, and he's the sort of person who panics when the fuel tank gets to a quarter. You know, we've got to refill. And actually, he didn't find it too stressful, which I thought he would do. It was just so easy to pick out the charging points. The sat-nav works with all that sort of stuff. So the range anxiety is perhaps a bit of a red herring with these cars these days. Yeah, the range could be better, but you know, you're going to have the home charging facility with a car like this, which keeps it on the road. So away from that, I mean, I guess the argument will come down to, at around about £80,000, are you better off buying this or an M3 or an M4? I mean, it just comes down to personal choice. If you want an EV, certainly if you're getting it as a company car, the tax breaks, etc., etc., it makes sense. If you're buying it with your own money and you still, you know, can't turn away from the siren call of an internal combustion engine just yet, then those cars are still available. So, you know, go ahead. But I think BMW have done a really good job. They've offered options in that market and at that price point. I think if you're spending £80,000 on this car, you're not going to be disappointed with it. And that's probably the biggest compliment you can pay it. Yes, it's heavy, but, you know, internal combustion engines had what, over 100 years of engineering put into it. Serious EVs have been around for about a decade, so they've got a lot of catching up to do. The technology will improve. You could argue that it's not quite there yet, but I would suggest that this car signposts to a very bright future. I've found it hugely enjoyable to drive, and yeah, love the way it looks, love the way it drives. Yeah, I have been very impressed with it, which has been something of a relief. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up, and please also consider subscribing. We've got loads of videos on the channel, and we've got loads more coming up too, so it'd be great to see you again soon. Thanks.